Romeo and Julieth is said to be a true story with themes of love and passion that happened in the town of Siena, Italy. The story tells us about two young lovers, Romeo Montague and Julieth Capulet, from feuding families in Verona. The story is believed to have been written in 1591 and 1595. Different poets tried to explain it. Some say that it was based on Guelphs and Ghibellines. According to William Shakespeare, Romeo and Julieth is a tragic play and is the one of his most famous work, and it has become an iconic piece of literature. Romeo is the teenage son of the Montague family who are busy feuding with the Capulets. In the beginning, Romeo is brooding over his unrequited love for Rosalind. When he sees Juliet at a party, Romeo instantly falls in love with her instead. They impulsively decide to marry the next day. Romeo initially refuses to fight Juliet's cousin Tybalt, but when Tybalt kills Mercutio, Romeo avenges his friend's death and kills him. He is banished as a result. Later, believing Juliet to be dead, he kills the mourning Paris, drinks poison, and dies. Juliet Capulet, on the cusp of 14 years old, falls in love with Romeo, the son of her family's enemy. She subsequently proposes marriage. With the help of Nurse, her guardian, they are secretly married. However, in the wake of Tybalt's death, and ignorant of her marriage to Romeo, Lord Capulet arranges for Juliet to marry Count Paris the next day. Cut off from all support except for that of Friar Lawrence, she takes a sleeping draught to fake her own death, hoping to reunite with Romeo. When she wakes to find him dead beside her, she stabs herself. Romeo and Juliet begins as the chorus introduces two feuding families of Verona, the Capulets and the Montagues. On a hot summer's day, the young men of each faction fight until the Prince of Verona intercedes and threatens to banish them. Soon after, the head of the Capulet family plans a feast. His goal is to introduce his daughter, Juliet, to a count named Paris who seeks to marry Juliet. Montague's son, Romeo, and his friends Benvolio and Mercutio hear of the party and resolve to go in disguise. Romeo hopes to see his beloved Rosaline at the party. Instead, while there, he meets Juliet and falls instantly in love with her. Juliet's cousin Tybalt recognizes the Montague boys and forces them to leave just as Romeo and Juliet discover one another. Yet, Romeo and Juliet met at masked ball and instantly started fall in the passionate love. Jealousies which divided their families, a strong and mutual attachment was formed between them. Like real lovers, no considerations of public or outward differences, nor even the present clashing of their family interests, could weaken the bond which united their hearts or induce them to fit those fondly cherished hopes which they had in each other's love, and with which no other anticipations would bear comparison. A worthy example to lovers in all ages, their love ultimately leads to their untimely deaths. According to Shakespeare's story, the age of Romeo was 16 years, while Juliet was given the age of 13 years, means that Romeo was 3 years older than Juliet. They decide to marry in secret, hoping that their union will bring an end to the feud between their families. Mercutio is a relative of the Prince of Verona and a close friend to Romeo. His volatile nature, quick wit, and saucy wordplay serve as comic relief throughout the play. At the beginning of the play, he attends the Capulets' party with Romeo and Benvolio. When Tybalt challenges Romeo and the latter refuses to fight back, Mercutio immediately attacks Tybalt. Finally, when Romeo tries to intervene, Mercutio is wounded and dies after cursing both families for their feudal feuding. His death is a catalyst for the tragedies that follow. Unfortunately, their plans are disrupted when Romeo kills Juliet's cousin Tybalt in a duel. As a result, Romeo is banished from Verona. Juliet is then forced into a marriage with Count Paris by her parents, who are unaware of her secret marriage to Romeo. Desperate to avoid this marriage, Juliet seeks the help of Friar Lawrence once again, who helped them to marry in secret. Friar Lawrence is a Franciscan friar and a mentor to Romeo and Juliet. He secretly marries them, hoping to broker peace between the two families. The friar later arranges for a banished Romeo to spend the night with Juliet before he leaves. He prepares a potion for Juliet in order to fake her death, avoid marriage to Paris, and reunite with Romeo. But his warning message to Romeo never reaches him. The message fails to reach Romeo in time. When Juliet finds Romeo dead, the friar fruitlessly tries to convince her to leave the tomb. He is initially suspected of her murder, but soon freed.